Is the market bullish or bearish? To be very clear, on Friday before the market closed, I said that I was going into YOLO puts on the SPY. To be very clear, that is a YOLO trade. That means high risk, high reward, not necessarily high conviction, but worth losing the money. Now, I don't know if anybody followed that, but I do want to state a couple of things. One, we had Powell talk. The next time we have any sort of catalyst or meeting or something along the lines of that is going to be October 29th. Why has the data been delayed? It's because we're in a government shutdown. That is why we're not getting a lot of things. That is also another reason why the YOLO looked enticing. It's because we are in what I would call a headline market. Nobody knows what Trump is going to come out and say. Nobody knows what the media is going to push over the weekend. And crypto looked weak heading into the weekend. So with all of that aside, let's jump into the SPY first to start the video. First things first, the momentum indicators got a little bit of a cool off on the weekly time frame. The RSI finally cooled down a little bit, coming down to 61 after trading above the 70, which is very overbought. We also saw a heavy volume candle and an equal wick to the downside as well as to the upside on this weekly candle, showing major indecision in the market. So the SPY is trying its best to hold up, and we can see that on the 4-hour time frame, we are testing against this trend line. I want to say very clearly it's going to be important the way we open the market. If we open red, that will be bad for the market. If we open green, that will put us right above this trend line. Likely will put us, I would say, opening a gap at 667.70 or so. So that way we can profit take, retrace in the morning to test this trend line and continue to climb higher. Now this is bull case scenario, and right now the bull case scenario seems to unfortunately be holding up as markets cool off, as crypto begins to slightly bounce. Right here, you can see that Bitcoin's up 1.37%, actually holding its level at 106. And then we also seen things, quote unquote, clear up between President Xi and President Trump. So right now, people are calling this a very bullish market as we begin to start the week. Let me tell you, I don't like that. I don't like the fact of all of this. First of all, U.S. banks are sitting on almost $400 billion in unrealized losses. We have now the highest national debt that we have ever seen. There are things going on behind the surface with precious metals. I don't think everything is clean cut and dandy. And if the markets continue to rally off of very low liquidity, in other words, this liquidity needs to be put somewhere else and it's being put in risk on assets, propping up the market. It's a lot to take in. Towards the end of the video, I'm going to tell you just a couple of things I'm focusing on because this is way too much chaos to even think about. But basically what I'm trying to say is if the market continues to rally higher, it's going to come down so hard in a few months or so, in my opinion. But we're watching how it opens. I'm excited to see. I think that things are technically on the short time frame looking bullish, but I hope for a rejection and for us to just get this sell off now rather than later. And October 29th, when that report comes out or whatever we have, the meeting where they cut rates, will begin to boost the market back up. I hope we can sell off into this and then we just begin the rally into November, December. As far as Bitcoin goes, I was going to talk about this, but I'm not necessarily going to talk about it. I was going to talk about the Bitcoin gold correlation, or not the conversion, but the correlation between these two, and kind of tell you where Bitcoin is on the path to. But instead, I want to talk about the lower wick Bitcoin got on the daily time frame. Every time Bitcoin sold off pretty hard, we had a nice, beautiful recovery following, and we also have seen multiple lower wicks on Bitcoin. Right now, it doesn't necessarily look like the bull market is over, even though that's contrary to what other people are telling you. They're saying that everything's going to crash and it is over, and that's a possibility. It's always a possibility. But right now, Bitcoin looks like it's going to consolidate, and off of some sort of news, it's going to begin its climb back up. If we don't begin our climb back up right now, I'm watching for a very fast dip below 100K, maybe 98K at most, and that will spark a rebound rally, in my opinion, if that even does come. I am still not taking 131 off the table. I still think that's a cycle top. I've said it probably more than a dozen times by now. I'll stand by that. And if Bitcoin rallies up past 123K right now, that puts shorts at $15 billion worth of short sellers being liquidated, which would cause a massive short squeeze, in which case I would believe we touch that cycle top that I think is coming. Now, as all of this seems bad if you are a bear, in the short term, things are looking kind of bullish as markets clear up, as global tension clears up, and things are looking bullish. This is actually kind of good for our short squeeze plays or meme plays. GameStop got a no lower wick on the weekly time frame, indicating that there is more room to the downside. The same thing happened with AMC. There's no lower wick. Small caps are getting hit hard as the market sells off. Now, if we get a rebound very harshly and we short squeeze, it's likely to squeeze small cap assets, risk on assets as well, like GameStop and AMC. This is just from a basic standpoint. This isn't looking at anything beneath the surface. Well, I also can tell you that this chart right here, the last time GameStop tested this trend line, we saw back in April of 2020, then August of 2020, then April of 2024, and August of 2025. So actually the same time frames, similarly, right? We got major bounces off of this trend line. Every single time was a hard bounce, and we should theoretically continue higher. We also haven't diverged from our cycle patterns that we have. Like I said, we're 41 days into the sell-off. The sell-off recently ended 42 days, and 35 days or so, give or take, right? We're on the weekly time frame. I showed you that on the 4-hour, so it's different. Also, it looks to me like we should get a bounce at this ascending support level on GameStop and enter a move higher. Everything looks pretty good for these plays except this chart. If you look very closely, we did break below this level, which is the first time we've actually seen this before hitting an all-time low. So we have one warning signal that would very quickly need to turn into a V-shaped recovery. Otherwise, this warning signal just gets to be a much worse warning signal. Worst case scenario is GameStop is now pegged to Bitcoin, and we are actually in the bear market, and we continue to sell off, and GameStop rejects this trend line and continues to go lower. But realistically, it's best case scenario because then you're buying GameStop at such a cheap price, seeing that they didn't dump their $9 billion into Bitcoin. They only dumped like $500 billion or so into it. Now, BYND is a short squeeze play we talked about before, and Reddit is apparently beginning to put a lot of eyes on this. Reddit users are signaling a possible short squeeze, and Beyond Meat squeezing Ken Griffin stock is now most shorted in the U.S. Short interest 80% with over 9 million fails to deliver and 800% cost to borrow. The company is set to announce major news tomorrow on Monday. So this is the one that I'm throwing on your radar. It's going to be very interesting here. Citadel Advisors already had a put position lined up against it. Citadel allegedly positioned for a drop before it even happened, yada, yada, yada. So now people are trying to squeeze these shorts. I'm excited to watch this. I see a daily candle with indecision on both sides and max volume that we've seen for quite a while, which to me indicates a very likelihood of a turnaround. And if this volume remains this high, up 438 million in volume, you could very quickly see a large short squeeze in Beyond. So keep this one on your radar. It's going to be the main short squeeze watch for the week. Now, OpenAI plans mega AI city on foundations of custom chip advancements. This is going to take too long because I've been rambling on too long for the video, but it's important. And AVGO or Broadcom is going to benefit a lot if this actually pans out. Tesla is one that I wanted to talk about because Tesla reports earnings this week. It's trading at $439.30, up 2.46%. And things are actually looking pretty bullish on the weekly and daily time frame, even though we were supposed to get rejected at a very important level somewhere in this region. As far as the rejection goes, we got rejected, but Tesla remained resilient, and consolidation looks to me like you're more likely to see a better move up, but we never know for certain. Now, here's what I believe you are risking playing earnings, and I think I'm probably going to play earnings. it's exciting. I think you're risking Tesla to drop to $383.80 or lower. Okay, so I'll leave that there. Or you are risking upside to about 470 to 490. Those are the levels that I would be watching on Tesla coming into earnings. We also have major earnings week, other earnings plays like Coca-Cola, Netflix, and some other ones that you can see on here, Ford, Intel, so on and so on. So screenshot this, join my Discord server. It's the top link in the description of the video. Thank you guys for 34,000 subscribers. Let's get to 35. I appreciate you all subscribing to the channel. Again, the Discord link is the top of the description of the video, as well as my custom indicator. I don't know why that's all messed up there. But yeah, go check those links in the comments down below. I love you all. Enjoy the rest of your night. Let's see how markets open. It's going to be very crucial. God bless. Lottery Stocks out.